intent of that was to have the policy be as it was and then have the superintendent or designee review that. I am going to make a motion that we go back to subcommittee on this item and work with administration, MASC, and whatever other best practices information are available to review the volunteer policy so that we have something that might be more robust and comprehensive.
Okay. Member Mailman, followed by Member Mailman.
So I want to comment on 3244. I filed that item 2 years ago. 2 years ago. And we have a bunch of people that gave very impassioned speeches here today and talked about a very important item. And they talked about us not addressing the elephant in the room. And I think they are right. And I think, so I absolutely support Molly's item to send this back for a stronger policy. I want to make comment that we can clearly, although I would like to hear from our superintendent and our mayor on this item, we cannot leave this in the hands of a superintendent because, God forbid, we have one that makes poor decisions related to this kind of stuff again. So what do we have to say? I mean, this has not gotten better. The information has only gotten harder to swallow for me, for sure. And I feel like we live in this city where we're not, like, why can't we stand up and say, never again, this can't happen, we will not allow it, we made mistakes, big mistakes. I don't understand that, and I just thank these people that have a lot more guts than most of us do for speaking up on something that has just been swept under the rug for years and years and years and years. And the other item I just wanted to comment, is this where the discipline stuff is too? I wanted to just say that hopefully we're gonna get a lot more in-depth disciplinary item and not just like this stuff. And I think you guys made a bunch of motions in committee for it. So I would like to always have us put percentages with incident rates, and I would really welcome any comments on 3244 from our chair or our superintendent. Thank you.
Okay. Member Johnson.
Thank you to the chair, and thanks, Member Mailman, for your comments. What I would say is, as I think numerous people have said, and so many people so eloquently said tonight, things that happened years ago, tragic. Whoever was in the room, whoever was part of whatever it was, it's all this stuff, DAs, there's so many multiple systems that were involved, tragic. I feel for everyone who was involved. I feel for Heather. I feel for everyone. And what I would say, being on this committee for the past 4 years, and will continue, hope for the next 2, that I will do everything in my power to ensure that we continue to protect our children and our schools and ensure that our schools are safe. And I spoke up at the meeting and bringing it back to committee to ensure and work with administration and work with my colleagues to ensure that we get this tightened up and everything's fine. I mean, there's always holes in certain things, so there's always communication that needs to go on around this stuff. Because again, it's not always black and white. It's not always something goes on, and this I think was my point, something goes on and someone is charged with something or whatever. There's always speculation out there, whatever. we need to have someone who steps in and says, despite a no Corey issue or whatever, or no sorry, or no whatever, this individual, based on what we know out in the community or have heard or anyone has brought to my attention, will not be allowed in our school. And that should fall on the superintendent. They're in charge of the schools. That should fall on the superintendent. We can't look at what the superintendent might look like in 3 years, 6 years, 10 years. We need to entrust that that individual, whoever it is ensuring that our kids are safe in schools. And I would hope everyone on this body is feeling the same thing that I feel. I think everyone was moved by everything that has been said and talked about tonight. And I believe as a body, as a district, as administrators or whatever, we will do everything in our power to ensure that our policies are straight and tight. We follow state, federal law, whatever it is, mass general laws, to ensure that our kids are safe. No one ever wants to be a part of a situation that happened with Heather and her family or any. No one wants to be a part of that again, and we will ensure that that is taken care of and never to occur again. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Mayor Petty.
Thank you, and I just want to thank the committee. I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight and the testimony, and Heather, your testimony, and the survivors. It's very emotional, and I understand. And so I appreciate the comments, but we have to get this right. You know, there's no second chance anymore. We have to have it right. And some good testimony tonight, especially when I think the young person here in the green talked about, she had the Corey checks and all the questions. You should send those questions to us so we can make sure those are answered. And you talked about Corey checks, and this 51A is part of that Corey check. What isn't part of the Corey check? What more do we do in the city of Worcester if it beyond the Corey check? So, and also we're talking about, someone was speaking about the compliance with state regulations and statutes, and also working with the police. And what's the appeal process? So if someone does get this designation, how does that person appeal, or how does the parents appeal? Either way. And so I think Member McCullough will get this right in committee. We get some information that was brought to us tonight. We'll put that in the committee too and talk about it and have a public hearing. And people can come in and testify about what they like to see in this. And because I'm sure we don't have all the information, and but the legal information, I mean, what we can, what we cannot do. But like I said, these are about our students, our safety of our students, and we can't overlook anything. So we need a good process in place. We need a good regulation policy in place that all principals know what the rules are, and there's no deviant from the rules, and also the superintendent would have the final say if it was appealed to you. So thank you.
Okay, I really like to talk on this subject. First of all, somebody that has never been convicted has a clear Corey. And as a superintendent, you do not have control of your school committee members. They're your bosses. So I think there's a lot of inaccurate things that were said tonight regarding those 2 points. Furthermore, as being a superintendent, not in Worcester, but also in Quabog and East Hampton, this is a question that comes up often, and that is, how do you make a decision as a superintendent, because it is a superintendent's decision for the daily running of the school district, and who goes in as a volunteer in a classroom and who doesn't. And several times the question comes up, what do you do when a person is not found guilty, passes the Corey, passes the SORI, and also passes the DCF And yet, there's some uncomfortableness for some reason in the community. So I really, in all those cases in East Hampton, we did consult legal counsel. Because it also affects parents. So when we're making this policy, we're not making policy for one person. This is a policy that covers everybody that wants to volunteer in a school system. And the other areas that have been challenging when I was superintendent was, what do you do about a parent query? When a parent has been convicted of a crime 7 years, 8, 9, 10 years prior, but wants to go on their child's field trip. So as a superintendent, you again have to make that decision whether you're going to allow that to happen. So it's important that Mr. Allen has guardrails to try to help with that decision, because it's a decision that happens more often than you would think, with parents asking to come to their school to help in the classroom and also to attend field trips. So I would like to add an amendment to that, is that not only does it return back to FOG, but we also get legal counsel on those guardrails and how our lawyer feels we should be going forward, because you're making a legal decision that affects people's reputation. We're also making a legal decision that affects parents and if they can be involved in their child's school. So I would ask the amendment that we do get legal counsel also for the guardrails. Thank you.
Member Millman?
Through the chair, is John Monfredo still on your list to not come into our schools?
Through the chair, yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so motion is, we're going to send that back to committee, and a motion to approve the FOG minutes, and those, we have any finance items in there? Okay, all those approved? Opposed? So ordered. Okay. We are on TLSS.